Good afternoon, friends, and thank you very much for coming today. With all our ministers traveling, I have no specific major news announcement to make to you, all of you. Of course, nor do I have an announcement to make in terms of anything that we would be undertaking during the next couple of days. Of course, beyond that, we have a hectic diplomatic schedule that is being worked out, and I will make those announcements once all the arrangements are made. So I'd like to inform you that I have no specific announcement to make, but I am open to responding to any questions that you may like to ask, if there are any. Yeah, one by one, just. Well, okay, let me start with, since Nidhi is there, we asked Nidhi. Yes, here you go.
I just wanted to know what the government's reaction is to what Hillary Clinton said in her global town hall the other day. First on David Headley, where she said she believes he's got the best possible sentence and that he will continue to cooperate in future as well. Basically, in a sense, ruling out extradition, because that was the question put to her. Is India going to pursue his extradition? If so, how? Given that he did have a plea bargain with the United States.
We've always held that bringing to justice the perpetrators of 26/11 is a work in progress, which we intend to take to its logical conclusion. Let me take some time and try and explain our position on this. Our objective has been that the processes initiated with the filing of charge sheet against 9 individuals by the NIA Special Court regarding the conspiracy surrounding the Mumbai terror attack is taken forward. And that's our goal. 2 of these charge sheets are against David Coleman Headley and Tahawur Rana. Now, the US has been helpful thus far within the limits of their own laws. They have enabled us access to Headley. Our officials have been able to spend 7 days questioning him. However, we have not been able to question Rana earlier, given his rights as an accused under US law. But now that he is a sentenced prisoner, we will once again seek US government support for access to him and also for further access as may be deemed necessary to Headley. We intend to continue to work with the US to seek access to others who may be of interest, and we will use all existing bilateral mechanisms for this. We also wish to continue to work with the US to help us in securing access to all others who are charge sheeted and to produce them before the NIA court. We will work on all available legal channels and avenues to ensure that the court case of the NIA proceeds and that the charge-sheeted individuals are produced before the court. And so if I may try and summarize what I have said so far, we have received good cooperation from the United States in the 26/11 cases. We intend to work closely with the United States in taking these legal processes forward. Our demand for the extradition of Rana and Headley continues to stand.
Sir, after maybe I should go.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
yes.
I am from the Northeast. My question is, China already earlier they have constructed dams in the on the Brahmaputra in Tibet. They are very shortly they are going to construct 3 more dams in Tibet, and that is actually during the rainy season. I think that will be during the rainy season enter huge areas of Northeast, including Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, and adjoining areas, including Bangladesh also, our neighboring countries, will be totally drowned and severe damages will be done. Lakhs of people will be rendered homeless, and properties will be damaged. So what steps your government going to take? Are you going to take the issue with the government of China?
Thank you very much. That's a fairly long question, and I think along with that, it's a statement too. Let me try and respond to some of the issues that you've raised. The Government of India carefully monitors all development on the Brahmaputra River. As a lower riparian state with considerable established use rights to the waters of the river, India has conveyed its views and concerns to the Chinese authorities, including at the highest levels of the Government of the People's Republic of China. India once again urges China to ensure that the interests of downstream states are not harmed by any activities in upstream areas. I hope that is an adequate response to yours. Yes, one by one. Yes, Surya.
Do the Chinese respond to our concerns? Do they indicate they're doing something about it, or is it just a routine complaint that we file?
I do not want to get into disclosing diplomatic dialogue, but I think I will put out the statement that I have just made, and if you read it, it covers all aspects, including a response to that question. So I would suggest please read it carefully. Yes, Srinjoy. One by one.
So, there are 3 dams we are talking about, and we know that at least in one case last year, on the dam at Jiache, after construction activity was detected, India had raised it, as you rightly said. Have we raised the issue of the other 2 dams as well?
I'm not going to get into the specifics at this stage, and this question that he had asked was a specific question, and I've responded with a specific answer. And I would suggest that please carefully read that answer. You will have elements of your question answered in that. Yes, Sharat.
Today I read on Twitter that India pledged some money for Mali. Would you please elaborate more about India's stance towards the situation in Mali? Thank you.
You know, India's position on international terrorism has been clear and consistent. We unequivocally condemn terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, wherever and by whomsoever committed, regardless of their motivation. We consider it as criminal and unjustifiable. We also believe that the fight against the scourge of terrorism must be unrelenting. We, as members of the Security Council last year, along with other members, as well as the AU and the ECOWAS, had made a shared attempt to arrive at a comprehensive strategy to deal with the crisis in Mali. And the outcome of that was Resolution 2085. The United Nations Security Council had expressed its support and understanding of the ongoing military operation in the context of Security Council 2085. As far as this specific event was concerned, there was a meeting in Addis Ababa on 29th. This was attended by our ambassador in Addis Ababa, who is also accredited to the African Union. And we have decided that we would pledge $1 million to the African Union Donors Conference in support of AFISMA. AFISMA is the African-led international support mission in Mali. Now, in addition to that, we have a long-standing engagement with Mali in the fields of capacity building, human resources development, and creation of social and physical infrastructure. An end to this crisis would enable us to resume this partnership for the benefit of the people of Mali. And it is our intention that this amount of assistance of a development nature would go as much as 100 million once situation stabilizes. Yes. Yes, Maha.
Is it in the form of urging China, or is it in the form of a complaint to China? And in case China does not listen to what India is saying, pay heed, is there any international recourse that India could resort to?
Please correct. China doesn't listen to us.
Either we listen to my statements or we listen to yours. If you would like to make the statements, there is a pulpit available for you, and you are sure you can make those. But that said, I think on that issue, let's take it step by step. Let's not jump the gun. Again, as I said, the statement that I have made will be available very shortly on the net. Please read it carefully, and what it means, it's self-evident. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Alberto Macegosa. I'm working for the Spanish news agency. I would like to know if Mr. Khurshid have the idea to travel to Latin America.
Welcome to our briefings, first of all. And it's nice to have you here and your interest in Indian foreign policy. That said, I suppose our regular practice is once we tie up all arrangements, only then we make announcements. So at this stage, I have started this meeting by saying that we have no announcement to make, and therefore at this stage we have no finalized plans on any visits this week or the next. Yes, one by. Yes, Vishal.
Pakistan has made counter charges against India of beheading their soldiers and also of using irregulars to behead civilians in Pakistan, and they have raised this issue with the UN MOGIB. What is your response, and also what is India's position with regard to UN MOGIB?
I haven't heard through any diplomatic channel any such complaint that you have mentioned. So therefore, I am oblivious to what you are mentioning, because this has not ever been raised through a diplomatic channel. And therefore, there is no requirement for me to answer. Now, if you are referring to news reports, I think the Ministry of Defense has responded to those news reports, and I don't need to respond to them because the Government of India speaks in one voice on this. As regards your question on the UNMOGIB, I think I have repeated that n number of times, but I will once again mention to it. I mean, I don't think we need to respond to this again, because our ambassador most recently at the UN had articulated our position. I will send you a copy of that statement, which is fairly all-encompassing and provides our considered view on that. There is no change on this, and this is not a position that we've articulated now. It's been a position that we've held for the last 40 years.
Recently,
Yes.
there is, I need a clarification on this gentleman who has been on the wanted list in India, has been brought back from Indonesia after apparently getting his visa and passport renewed. Can you just explain as to why such a thing did happen, or was there a mix-up?
You mean his passport renewed?
Good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing that I, as the Ministry of External Affairs, can respond to. I think Srinjoy Chaudhary and the Times Now group have been following this for some time. But let me try and explain to you the situation, which I have responded to previously on this. And that is, we work on the basis of information available to the Ministry of External Affairs. When this question was asked to me I think in May or June, we had then responded that as far as we were aware, there were no restrictions provided to us by any agency of the Government of India not to renew passport of a individual, and the individual in this context was the person you mentioned. Consequently, as an Indian citizen, he was entitled to all services that all other Indian citizens are entitled to. Subsequently, in September 2012, we did receive information about his activities and the need to revoke his passport. That was done expeditiously, and subsequent to that, his stay in Indonesia became difficult because he does not have a valid passport. Consequently, at a certain stage, he was arrested or detained by the immigration authorities in Indonesia, who immediately contacted our mission there, which in turn promptly contacted those agencies who had since September 2012 been in touch with us about the misdeeds of alleged misdeeds of this individual, and we have very good cooperation from the Indonesian government, and that led to his deportation in double quick time as far as we are concerned. So as far as we see it, this was a success of the efforts of the mission in Indonesia, which acted proactively and quickly and promptly in responding to a request that was received by them last year. Anything that was done before that was in consonance with the norms that you would expect us to follow in dealing with Indian citizens. Yes, Rajiv?
A question before a question. A cap, or you are in a good mood to allow two questions?
No, one.
Just one? Not two.
The mood doesn't matter. Yes, finished.
Okay. When is the PM going to Japan? There were reports that he is likely to visit in PAP, but that is being pushed back. So when is he likely to?
I don't want to answer to speculative reports. I have no information of a visit that you are mentioning of at this stage. Yes, Maha?
Does India see it as betrayal? Because so far the Pakistan civilian government has used the excuse that it was not completely in the know of what the army was contemplating with regards to Kargil.
Let me try and frame my response. That there is a debate going on in Pakistan on this issue is not new. This is a debate internal to Pakistan. It is a debate which has been there for quite some time. There are people like the gentleman you mentioned just now with a point of view. There are others with another point of view. As far as we in the government of India are concerned, while we closely follow this debate, we do not participate in this. And therefore, I do not want to break that tradition of trying to participate in a debate in another country which is internal to it. But that the outcome of whatever was the basis of this decision making, that India did get impacted by this and Kargil happened is something that both sides now seem to agree, and this basically justifies what we have always been saying about it. Yes, Mr. Venkat Narayan.
I just want to ask you about the recently concluded African Union Summit. Did India send any officials or ministers there? And was there a discussion on the Esulveni consensus about nominating African representatives for the permanent seats on the Security Council? Are you in a position to throw some light on that, please? Thanks.
I am in a position to throw light on our efforts and role there, not on what the leaders they decided, but because it's proper for them to make that open. As far as we are concerned, yes, we did send a senior official, a Secretary West, Mr. Sudhir Vyas had gone there as special envoy. He did have meetings with a cross-section of the leadership there, and the issue of UN Security Council reform and our position and our intention to make progress on that was communicated to all concerned there. Yes, Geeta?
Again on Anil Bastavre, it's not just about the passport having been reissued, but also that Enforcement Directorate claims that certain embassies and consulates in Abu Dhabi and Dubai didn't cooperate with them when it comes to Anil Bastavre. Is MEA looking into the matter? Is there an inquiry set up as to who are the officers involved?
Let me make it very clear at the outset. Non-cooperation is not a tradition of the Ministry of External Affairs. We always try to cooperate with every agency of Government of India because we are the external arm of the Government of India. So an embassy represents India in its entirety outside. That said, nobody has told us what you are saying has figured in some media reports. Nevertheless, we always take our job seriously, and we've started to find out information on the facts of the case. Our embassy in Abu Dhabi has been contacted, and they will in due course send a report on this matter, because while this is still in the realm of media reports, we thought it best to take it up and request our ambassador, because the agencies concerned have not been in touch on this matter. That's what I meant when I said that it's in the realm of reporting, because it's not something, if there was such an incident, it's normal for people to get in touch and indicate that if this incident happened some years ago, as is being indicated in that report, then it's perhaps proper that we should have been informed about this before. But nonetheless, we've already initiated efforts in this regard, and we will get to the bottom of this shortly. Did you want something, Elizabeth?
Sir, what I wanted to ask was, you said that we are getting good cooperation from the US with reference to terrorism. But in December, we did have the Department of Justice, saying that the cases against two ISI, senior ex-ISI officials cannot be pursued, with reference to their role in 2611. Now, I'm again questioning whether we are really getting good cooperation from the US, because you do have John Kerry confirmed as, Secretary of State. You do have the drawdown coming, in Afghanistan. In this context, do you actually see good cooperation with the US on terrorism?
Yeah. So I get your point. I think maybe I will need to put out what I said again in print, because I said good cooperation within the parameters of their laws. And what we have seen is that within their legal context, they have been assisting us to the maximum possible. That it doesn't meet our legal needs is also quite clear, but that does not mean to say that we will not pursue our legal goals. So while it's good cooperation, we need to see it in the context of their legal legal regime. Our requirements are different, and we will continue to press on that. Now, as regards the ISI, we've put out a fairly detailed statement on that, which is available for the record. I don't need to reiterate that. And that elaborate statement indicates our view on that position. As regards any other developments that you are saying, I don't know how they are directly linked to terrorism in terms of changes of personnel, etc. So I will not even dare to delve into that area. Yes, Manish.
Looking forward to the forthcoming BRICS summit, could you give us a sense of what's the progress on the development bank? Are we also in the running to host the bank?
I think you've taken like 5 steps before even the BRICS finance ministers have decided on this. But that said, this is a major element which is now currently under discussion between the finance ministries of the BRICS countries. We expect an outcome which will be announced at the next BRICS summit in Durban in March. I think based on that, maybe your next questions can be asked at that stage, because at this stage we are not even ready with an outcome. So once that outcome is available, you may like to ask that and many other questions on BRICS and the proposal for the development bank. Only one question, so your chances are over. Please don't. Yes, sir.
Yes. Minister Khurshid was in Brussels recently for this ministerial meeting. Can you tell us what was the result of this meeting?
Yes, Minister Salman Khurshid was both in Germany and in Brussels. In Germany, he was there on a bilateral visit. This is the first bilateral visit by External Affairs Minister to India in a bilateral context since 2002. Germany is our largest trading partner in Europe. And also we have a strategic partnership with Germany since 2000. As you are aware, this year there will be a summit level meeting between our Prime Minister and the Chancellor of Germany. This is scheduled later during the year. Once we finalize those dates, we will let you know. But during the discussions in Germany, he met the Foreign Minister of Germany, Mr. Westerwelle. They had discussions on bilateral issues, including on possible arrangements in terms of high-tech exports from Germany to India. Also, as you are aware, we have a new national manufacturing policy with Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor. We are looking for investments from various countries, including Germany, in that area. In addition, they also discussed issues in the region, which meant Germany has an active interest in Afghanistan. Germany is also part of the P5+1 talks. So there were issues on all these matters that were discussed. Then the External Affairs Minister visited Brussels, as you said. In Brussels, he's had a meeting earlier yesterday with Lady Ashton. Baroness Ashton. For those of you who would like to know further details than my short summary, we have put out a YouTube version of a 15-minute press conference between the two leaders, and that gives you a broad idea of our discussions. But largely these were related to the FTA, which the goal is to try and formalize it as early as possible. The Prime Minister of India will also be visiting Brussels for a annual summit. Last time the summit was held in Delhi, so this time it is in Europe, and discussions related to those matters. Also, the EU is our largest trading partner in terms cumulatively. There were discussions on those matters, and on the EU is acquiring a larger role politically on various issues, and we had opportunity to share information and ideas on those matters where the EU High Representative has a role to play. I think. Yes.
So North Korea plans to conduct nuclear tests in near future. Could we have an Indian reaction to that?
When they conduct it. Yeah.
They have a plan to conduct.
Yeah, when they conduct it, we will have a reaction. We have previously had reactions saying that we are committed to UN Security Council resolutions and we hope that North Korea will abide by them. And if there is any other change in that, and there is a situation of the type that you are mentioning, we will respond to it in accordance with what we have responded previously. Yes, last question. Ranjit.
India and EU are discussing comprehensive economic partnership agreement since many years. So do you think during the forthcoming summit it will be finalized?
I wish I could be able to tell you that sort of a thing. It's not in a individual's. I mean, I don't know whether any individual can tell you, but the idea is that there is a commitment to try and resolve this as quickly as possible and to have an agreement, because both of us see that it would be a win-win situation for both of us. But that said, there's always, as they say, the devil lies in the details, and those details are being worked out. And we hope that it can be finalized at an early date. How early is early? I leave that choice for you to make. Thank you very much.